Good evening. Welcome to South Asia Newsline. I'm Lipakshi Khurana. Here are the top stories we're tracking for you on Friday, the 21st of October. Indian PM Modi unveils projects to boost connectivity and religious tourism in Uttarakhand. Pakistan poll body disqualifies former PM Imran Khan from public office. And Sri Lanka Central Bank Governor sees inflation peaking, says IMF funding crucial. And now for all the details. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Friday offered prayers at the iconic Kedarnath temple and the Badrinath temples in Uttarakhand state as he unveiled various projects to boost connectivity and religious tourism. He accused the previous governments of leaving the centers of faith across the country in a state of neglect for years and claimed they are now being restored to their lost glory.
Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Friday offered prayers at the iconic Kedarnath temple in Uttarakhand state as he unveiled various projects to boost connectivity and religious tourism. Donning the traditional Chola Dora outfit that was gifted to him by Himachali women, PM Modi paid obeisance at Kedarnath and laid foundation stone of development of a ropeway from Gaurikund to Kedarnath shrine that will reduce travel time from 6 to 7 hours to only about 30 minutes. The major infrastructure development aims to give a boost to religious tourism, which will give a fillip to the economic development in the region. The Prime Minister later reviewed the progress of development works, followed by laying the foundation stone of another ropeway project from Govind Ghat to Hemkund Sahib that will reduce travel to the Sikh shrine from more than a day to only about 45 minutes. He also inaugurated projects to boost road widening and connectivity at Mana, considered the last village in India.
के बीच आकर मुझे 2 रोपवे प्रोजेक्ट के शिलान्यास का सौभाग्य मिला है। इससे केदारनाथ जी और गुरुद्वारा हेमकुंड साहब के दर्शन करना और आसान हो जाएगा।
The Prime Minister also paid obeisance at the famous Badrinath temple shrine in Chamoli district. In his address, Modi accused the previous governments of leaving the centers of faith across the country in a state of neglect for years and claimed that these places are now being restored to their lost glory.
And in news from Pakistan, Pakistan's Election Commission disqualified former Prime Minister Imran Khan on Friday from holding public office for 5 years after its tribunal found him guilty of unlawfully selling state gifts given by foreign dignitaries and heads of state. A close aide of Khan has said a challenge would be lodged in the High Court. Till the last reports came in, protest had erupted across parts of the country condemning the verdict.
Pakistan's Election Commission on Friday disqualified former Prime Minister Imran Khan from holding public office for next 5 years over charges of unlawfully selling state gifts received from heads of other nations and foreign dignitaries in the state treasury, also called Toshakhana. Khan, who has denied the charges, was accused of misusing his position to purchase and sell gifts received during state visits abroad that were worth over 140 million Pakistani rupees. The tribunal was expected to deliver a detailed ruling later in the day. The lawmakers of the ruling coalition government had filed a case with the Election Commission of Pakistan in August against 70-year-old Khan seeking his disqualification for failing to reveal the proceeds from the sale of gifts. Khan's close aide, PTI leader Fawad Chaudhry, in a tweet rejected the verdict and asked Khan's followers to stage protests and said the constitution can be saved only by reversing the powerhouses. This comes as Imran Khan had earlier assigned PTI workers the task of bringing thousands of people each to the massive long march towards Islamabad, which in his words could be announced at any time. Khan, who was ousted as Prime Minister in April in a parliamentary vote, has demanded snap election, which the ruling coalition has rejected, saying voting will be held as scheduled later next year.
And more news from Pakistan. Pakistan's Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif has said that he will not allow private import of wheat as the flood-affected country already has sufficient stocks and there is a need to save precious foreign exchange. The floods have led to damages over $30 billion US, further weakening Pakistan's economy, already in turmoil with a rising current account deficit and inflation above 20%.
Pakistan's Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif said on Thursday that the country has sufficient stocks of wheat and he will not allow its private import to save precious foreign exchange. Sharif's statement came a day after European traders said a government agency in Pakistan had issued a new international tender to purchase and import 500,000 tons of wheat. Addressing a meeting in Islamabad, Shehbaz said the production of wheat was likely to be less than the demand consequent to the floods and the government wanted to distribute seeds to the farmers for the next crop with equal cost sharing with the provincial governments. Addressing a meeting in Islamabad, Shehbaz said the production of wheat was likely to be less than the demand consequent with the floods and the government wanted to distribute seeds to the farmers for the next crop with equal cost sharing with the provincial governments. He added that the government had imported thousands of tons of wheat to overcome the shortage for the last year.
I will not allow this. I will not allow this. कि प्राइवेट सेक्टर आप मंगवा ले अपनी मर्जी की कीमत पर. मैं किसी को दोष नहीं दे रहा, किसी पे इल्जाम नहीं लगा रहा, किसी को आई एम नॉट कास्टिंग एनी aspersion, किसी पे मैं डाउट नहीं कर रहा. वी आर ऑल ऑनरेबल पाकिस्तानीज, ऑल प्रोविंशियल गवर्नमेंट्स आर ऑल वेरी ऑनरेबल, दे आर डूइंग अ ग्रेट जॉब. लेकिन एक सिस्टम है, एक तबाही हो गई है. फॉरेन एक्सचेंज का बहुत एक मुश्किल मामला है.
The floods, which have killed nearly 1,700 people and led to damages over $30 billion US, have further weakened Pakistan's economy. Already in turmoil with a rising current account deficit, inflation above 20% and a sharp currency devaluation. Pakistan's foreign exchange reserves that have fallen to around 1 month of imports consist largely of oil and gas purchases.
Moving on, residents in Pakistan-administered Kashmir have raised concern over frequent load shedding in the region, which has continued to afflict their lives. There have been several protests over the issue in recent months, but the Pakistan government has continued to ignore the people's plight.
Residents in Pakistan-administered Kashmir have expressed they have continued to have a distressing time due to prolonged power cuts expanding to 6 to 10 hours. A local journalist lamented that the whole region lies in the abyss of power outages, which are disrupting life, businesses and studies of children. Despite having mega dams and hydropower projects like Neelam Jhelum hydropower plant, they have to face such a situation. There have been several protests over the issue in recent months, but the Pakistan government has continued to ignore the people's plight.
पूछा है कि बिजली आज़ाद कश्मीर के अंदर इस 2400 मेगावाट से ज़्यादा 3000 के मेगावाट के करीब बिजली पैदा की जा रही है, जबकि आज़ाद कश्मीर की कुल ज़रूरत जो है वो 400 मेगावाट के करीब है. लेकिन बदकिस्मती से यहाँ पे जो इस वक्त सूरत हाल है वो ये है कि 6-6, 8-8, 10-10 घंटे भी लोड शेडिंग हो रही है और ख़ासकर शाम के औकात में लोड शेडिंग ज़्यादा होती है. तो हालांकि 400 मेगावाट कुल हमारी खपत है और इसका कोई लोड शेडिंग की कोई बनती नहीं है.
Locals have long blamed Islamabad for depriving them of their basic rights, claiming the agenda is to keep the region underdeveloped. They blame Pakistan government assures them of development, but it has only given them hours of load shedding, lack of drinking water, along with turning the roaring rivers into small rivulets or drains.
And in news from Sri Lanka, Sri Lanka's Central Bank Governor has said that inflation in the island nation is peaking, with price rise likely to ease. He said that the loan program from the International Monetary Fund is crucial to tackle the economic crisis.
Sri Lanka's Central Bank Governor Nandalal Veerasinghe has said that inflation in the island nation is peaking, with price rises likely to ease, and program to recover the country from the current economic crisis has now reached a critical juncture. Local media reported Veerasinghe in an interview said the bank needs to keep rates high to bring down inflation, while price rises were expected to slow in December and January. The governor said that the negotiations with the International Monetary Fund (IMF) were successful and now debt restructuring is important for disbursement of the loan program. He pointed out that tax revisions and increase in interest rates were some of the tough decisions taken to get rid of inflationary situation. The government is expected to present its budget for 2023 to Parliament in mid-November, which is expected to include higher taxes and wider reforms of state enterprises in line with commitments made to the IMF. Sri Lanka's financial crisis was partly caused by steep tax cuts in 2019, which together with the impact of the pandemic resulted in multiple ratings downgrades that locked it out of the international financial markets.
And moving on to news from Nepal, the Nepal's Election Commission has recommended legal action against CPN Unified Socialist Chairman Madhav Kumar Nepal for breaching the election code of conduct. The Maoist leader has been accused of luring voters by telling them that they would get job opportunities abroad for free.
The Nepal Election Commission on Thursday recommended legal action against CPN Unified Socialist Chairman Madhav Kumar Nepal for breaching the election laws and code of conduct. Reports suggest Madhav Kumar Nepal during his election campaign on Wednesday had assured his voters that they would get job opportunities abroad without paying for airfare and visa process. The poll body on Thursday morning sought a written clarification from Madhav Kumar Nepal. However, within hours it recommended the police for action, saying that its investigation found that there was no confusion that the statement was made by the Maoist leader. Madhav Kumar Nepal's CPN Unified Socialist is part of the five-party ruling alliance led by centrist Nepali Congress, which has been in government since July last year. Earlier this week, the poll body had also warned candidates and political parties against holding mass gatherings. It said only door-to-door programs can be conducted before November 3 or 17 days before the election. The recent economic woes, surging energy prices and political stability are expected to be the priorities for voters in the elections slated to be held on November 20.
And known as the youngest social media influencer in India's Jammu and Kashmir, a 10-year-old girl has taken the internet by storm with the social media videos. She regularly posts videos on her social media page where she highlights scenic beauty of Kashmir and also draws attention to the problem in their community.
10-year-old girl Aqsa Masrat from Sopore district in India's northern Jammu and Kashmir has taken the internet by storm with her social media videos. Known as the youngest social media influencer from the Kashmir Valley, Aqsa regularly posts videos on her social media page called What Aqsa Says, where she speaks about the scenic beauty of Kashmir Valley and also draws attention to problems in her community. She makes videos on social issues like dog menace, traffic jams, infrastructure, and on the price hike. She says she got inspiration from her maternal uncle, who is an acclaimed photojournalist.
जहाँ तक बात आती है वीडियोस की, तो मैं ज़्यादातर टाइम अपने मामू के साथ स्पेंड करती थी, जिसकी वजह से आई गॉट इंक्लाइन टुवर्ड्स द कैमरा एंड आई वांटेड टू मेक वीडियोस. सो मेरे मामू ने यहाँ पे मेरा रोल प्ले किया है. ही इज़ द वन बिकॉज ऑफ होम आई गॉट द मोटिवेशन एंड ही इज़ द रोल मॉडल व्हेन इट कम्स टू मेकिंग वीडियोस.
The budding influencer is currently studying in 5th standard and has more than 2,800 subscribers on YouTube and 58,000 followers on Facebook. The young talent has made 50 videos so far and has received immense support and love from the viewers along her journey.
Well, that's all we have for you from South Asia this evening. Now our viewers can watch the show on SouthAsiaNewsline.com. You can also visit us on Facebook.com/SAsiaNewsline and follow us on Twitter @SAsiaNewsline. That's all in tonight's edition. We'll see you same time next week. Have a great weekend. Good night.